Dr. Mira Voss watched the Celt cub through the quarantine glass. Her breath fogged the pain. The filters cleared it again. The creature was small, barely the mass of a human toddler. Yet built like a coiled disaster, it sat in the center of the white habitat, perfectly still, not sleeping, not resting. Still, he has not shifted once, Mira said. Not a claw, not his tail. Not even a blink beside her. Xenoneurologist Remick tilted his narrow head. Two pupils rotated inside each of his eyes. Slow like gears. The Celt call it Vorish, Remick said. The pause before the end. His body thinks survival is no longer possible. His nervous system is closing doors. The Celt were feared across the coalition. Heavy world hunters. Dense bone. Rigid codes. This cub was the last living passenger from a diplomatic cruiser torn apart by raiders. 47 Celt adults, all dead. All except him. They will not claim him, Remick said. Their council has named him Varrock. Stained. Mira felt her jaw tighten. Stained for surviving? They say his sire yielded, Remick said. He chose surrender to shield the cub to the Celt. Surrender is worse than death. So the clan performed the Yunbinged. As far as his people are concerned, the cub is already gone. Mira stared at the small figure inside the habitat. His scales should have carried a dark sheen. Like wet stone under starlight, instead they were gray, dry, muted. His crest lay flat against his skull. A fallen banner clearance is approved, a guard said over the intercom. Myra did not answer. She pressed the button. The habitat door released with a soft hiss. The cub did not react. The sensors did. Silent lights tracked her heart rate, and the cub's minimal breathing. Mira stepped inside and sat on the floor. At a careful distance, 3 meters, far enough to respect fear, close enough to be seen, she set a small box between them. Not metalwood. Old, the kind that held fingerprints. In remembered hands. Hours passed. The cub remained motionless, as if the universe had forgotten to animate him. Mira did not speak. She made herself ordinary, a human shape in the corner of his world, a quiet constant. When the habitat lighting dimmed to simulate night, Mira finally spoke. My son was 6 when he died, Mira said. The cub's inner eyelid trembled. The first movement in many days, just a twitch, enough to prove he could still choose. It was a transport failure, Mira said. A safety lock that should have held. I was supposed to be on that shuttle with him, but I stayed late to finish my work. She swallowed. Slow and controlled. Years of training taught her how to say the words, without collapsing under them. People told me it was not my fault, Mira said. They told me to let it go. To move on, the cub's head turned a fraction. Not fully. Just enough to listen. But humans do not move on, Mira said. We carry. We keep carrying even when it hurts. She opened the wooden box. Inside was a small strip of cloth, braided and worn, stitched with a child's uneven pattern, a bracelet, faded, soft. We do not forget them, Mira said. We do not trade love for comfort. We learn to become strong enough. To hold the weight, the cub's claws slid out slightly. Scraping the floor, attention. Your clan told you your sire was weak, Myra said. They told you his choice ruined you, that you should have died. Rather than live with what he did, the cub's breathing quickened. The first sign of panic. A tremor ran down his tail, then stopped. But I am human, Mira said. So I will tell you the part your people refused to speak. Your sire loved you more than honor, more than the hunt, more than every law carved into your bones. He broke the rules, because losing you was worse than losing himself. The cub made a small sound, a clicking, broken growl, not threat. Not anger, grief, trying to find a shape. That does not make him weak, Mira said. It makes him a parent, and you are not stained because he saved you. You are proof that you were worth it. The stillness shattered. The cub moved so fast the tracking light struggled. Mira did not flinch. She did not reach. She stayed where she was. Hands open, palms visible, the cub folded inward, body compressing like a star collapsing. His scales flashed color, deep blues, violent purples, patterns the database called juvenile distress. Rarely observed, a keening sound rose from him. High, raw, alarms blinked on the monitoring wall outside. Not aggression, the system read. Emotional overload. Mira kept her voice low. Your people said you should be gone, Mira said, but you are here. You are breathing, and that matters. The cub's keening cracked into smaller sounds, choking clicks. Mira waited. Some suffering needed space. Then she spoke again. Humans have a saying, Mira said. The dead do not need our loyalty. The living do. The cub's head lifted. His eyes locked on the wooden box. Then on Mira, a question without words. What do I do with this pain? You keep it, Mira said. You do not let it drown you. You let it teach you. Days became weeks. Mira returned every evening. Always the same distance. Always the same calm. She brought him human rituals. Not as replacements. As tools, a memory wall, projected images. Recorded names, not trophies of honor. Stories of warmth, laughter, small moments. The Celt observers were. Furious clan envoy Thesk snarled through the translator. You are teaching him softness. He will never integrate good, Mira replied. Right now he does not need to be a warrior. He needs to be a child. She brought children's books. Rewritten for coalition speech, she brought breathing exercises. She taught him to speak names out loud, not to summon the dead. To keep love from becoming poison, the cub began to eat. At first only a few bites. Then full meals he began to move. Slow, careful, as if motion itself would invite. Punishment, one night he spoke his sire's last words, voice harsh and halting. Run, live. Remember? Mira nodded. He did not ask you to die for him, Mira said. He asked you to live for him. Months passed. The cub created his own ritual. Every evening he stood before the memory wall and spoke his family's names, not in the old Celt death chant. In plain remembrance, sometimes he cried, sometimes he laughed. Sometimes he only stood there. Breathing steady, other orphans began to join him. An Avari hatchling without a nest. A burrow child separated from its pack. Different species. Different losses drawn to a place where grief could exist. Without being named shame, when Thesk entered the habitat in person, he froze. He saw Varak helping another child, guiding trembling breaths, with patience and compassion. This is not the Celt way, Thesk said. No, Mira answered. But he is not only Celt anymore. He is something new. Something that can carry strength and sorrow together. Thesk lowered his crest slightly. His voice lost certainty. You have made him weak, he said. Mira met his stare. I have made him whole, she said. There is a difference. Years later, Varak stood taller than most coalition soldiers, a Celt warrior with scars earned, and codes honored, but he also carried a human lesson. That survival sometimes meant accepting help. That courage was not only fighting alone, he became a bridge between species, a translator of pain, a keeper of rituals, and he kept one human tradition always, a wooden box. Inside, small tokens from those he lost, not hidden, displayed a reminder that memory was not chains. It was love given weight, and weight, when carried with care, could become strength. ***, subscribe to Neon Cub Tales for more HFY stories. Like this video, if the cub scene hit your heart, comment your favorite moment from this story. Was it the wooden box? The memory wall? Or the first time the cub moved? Share this with a friend who loves emotional sci-fi. Turn on notifications so you do not miss the next upload. Your comment helps Neon Cub Tales grow. Thanks for watching.